Hello and welcome to At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Oftentimes people hear the word leader and they think only of political leaders, but leaders come in many forms, and that's worth exploring. I'm Jim Hoyer, born and raised in West Virginia, a husband, a father, a new grandfather, and a retired military leader, serving for over 40 years in public leadership for our state and nation. Now, the most important mission I have going forward is to educate, motivate, and empower our next generation of leaders. At the leadership table with me today is Andy Henthorn, founder and CEO of Buddy and Beast, a dog wellness brand based in Charleston, West Virginia. And like me, Andy was raised in the Kanawha Valley. We're probably about 40 years apart in that sense. I think you graduated from St. Albans in 2017. Yep. I graduated from Charleston Catholic in 1979. So we're a little bit apart, but raised in the same area, same valley. I saw a LinkedIn post that Andy had put out that really struck me because it really laid out his passion for building a business in the Mountain State. So that is something that we want to highlight on At the Leadership Table, that local level leadership and growing opportunities in West Virginia. So Andy, thanks for joining me at the Leadership Table today.
Thank you so much for having me out. It's a huge honor. I know you did a lot for the U.S. as a whole, but also for the state, and it means a lot that I was able to go through here today and talk to you.
So Andy, I'm going to start out by asking you the same first question we ask all of our guests. Please share with us a standout moment when you learned something really important about leadership.
Yeah. So growing up in West Virginia, I've gotten to see a lot of different leadership styles and a lot of leadership within the state. But when I was really young, my mom had me at a coal association meeting when I was about 12 years old, and there was a guy walking around and kind of talking to everybody and getting to know everybody at the different tables. And he came up to me and talked to me for about 15 minutes, and I walked away and I was like, man, he made me feel like the best person in the world. And that guy was Bill Rainey. He was the president of the Coal Association.
Who is a great personal friend of mine and a mentor of mine.
And he's absolutely fantastic. But when I was sitting there, I was trying to recognize why he was so prominent as a leader and what he had done to be so influential. And part of what I recognized was he was all about his people. He wanted to serve the community. He wanted to serve the people that worked under him and worked with him. And he was so selfless in his ability to go through and be a leader. And so when I saw that, I was like, that's the leader I want to be. And I started to recognize my mom was a very similar leader. She was about serving the people around her. My dad was the same way. And I got to kind of see it throughout my life, and that's what I wanted to inspire to be within the community and within any role I took.
And that's a great example. And another link that you and I have, Bill and I have been friends for probably 40 years, and he's been a great friend and mentor and partner on a lot of projects that we've worked together for the state of West Virginia. So I'm glad to hear that Bill influenced you as well. So you grew up in St. Albans. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about how growing up in St. Albans in the Kanawha Valley shaped your experiences in being an entrepreneur and standing up a business.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know the Kanawha County is an interesting part in the state because they're kind of split between being in a city but also being right next to a huge rural hub. So you're an hour away from Logan, which is primarily just coal-based manufacturing. You hit Charleston, where it's a little bit more diverse. You go up north and it totally changes again. So it's interesting being in St. Albans because the school is pretty representative of that. You see one half where most of the students are in the middle class to upper class, and then the other half of the students are at the bottom level of the poverty. And when you grow up around that, you get a lot of diverse perspectives in terms of being able to see it from people who have endless amounts of wealth and are able to kind of do everything they want versus a group of people who have limited opportunities. And when you work in a school where you see both of those and you watch both of them succeed in different ways, you start finding different ways to service people, and you get different and interesting perspectives that I don't think you get in a lot of areas. I think if you grow up in an area that's really well off, you tend to only get that perspective. Same thing if you grow up in an area that's really disadvantaged, you tend to only see one. And St. Albans and Kanawha County as a whole is a really interesting mix because it is so diverse and you get so many interesting perspectives. And I think it helped me when I started to go through and get older is because it helped me work with people, but then it allowed me to listen and understand different scopes and perspectives. And a lot of times, most opportunities come from varying perspectives from your own. You start seeing different opportunities around you. And I think Kanawha County as a whole was a great funnel for that, on top of the amount of opportunities you just get from different organizational groups. I mean, Governor's Honors Academy, there's a lot of programs they have built into those areas that also help boost you and elevate you to see different things, not just in the state, but across the nation.
So we try to focus on leadership, helping to grow the next generation of leaders, but also highlighting leaders in the state. And the reason that we asked you to come on the program was that I had seen a post that you put on LinkedIn, and it was titled, "Why I Decided to Build a Business in West Virginia and Why I Hope You Do Too." And that really struck me as somebody that's really trying to make the best out of their community, lead by example. So can you share with us and the listeners a little bit about what was behind that post and what your focus is?
Yeah. So when I grew up with a lot of really smart people. We went through a lot of the same programs. We had a lot of the same opportunities. And when we got to colleges, a lot of them got really great scholarships. I did as well. I got a great scholarship from West Virginia University and had an opportunity to get an education here. And I know a lot of my friends got really good rides as well. I was disappointed because at the end of the 4 years, they immediately were like, okay, now we're going to go to Chicago, or we're going to go to New York, or we're going to go to these other places. And I was like, hey, they gave you the money, they gave you the opportunity to try to bring it back here and build something. So when I graduated, I worked for Aldi for 3 years, and I still didn't feel like I was giving back as much as I could to the community. And I had an idea for a business and wanted to start it here in the state. And I went through a few meetings with different entrepreneurs from around the country. And the thing that they all told me is they said, it's going to be absolutely brutal when you start because everybody's trying to tear you down. The business competition, they're trying to put you out of business. That is their goal. And I walked into the Mountain State and it was the exact opposite. Everybody was like, how can we help you? How can we get you into resources across the state to help you succeed? And it was from everybody, from our customers to the other businesses we were competing against. They just wanted to help you grow and help you build. And that was something that on paper, they're not going to tell you. I mean, if you look at it from a financial standpoint, this is probably not the state you'd want to build a business in. But in reality, it was the best state to start a business in just because of the community and the amount of help you're able to get, not just financially, but from a lot of the resources and the people around you. And that was kind of why I went through and wrote the article.
So you mentioned to me earlier that you spent your first 3 years working for another company. You learned and identified a gap that was out there, and you saw that gap as the opportunity to exploit, to create a business and do something good in West Virginia. That business is called Buddy and Beast. So tell us a little bit about what Buddy and Beast is and the journey to get to that.
Yeah, so I was working for a grocery chain, and the grocery chain's their longest performing area is actually the pet product. And the reason why is that particular chain, they wanted to source from the U.S. And if you look at sourcing for pet products in the U.S., it's extremely limited. There's only a few people who do it. They make white label products and then they rebrand those. So really they're all selling the exact same thing, and there's not a lot of diversity in that space. And so I saw kind of that opportunity and thought, hey, I had a dog of my own, had her for 17 years. She had a lot of health problems, and we went through and tried to cheat those from a veterinary standpoint. They were just going to put her on a medication long term, and it wasn't going to be beneficial for her health. It didn't make me feel good because there was other adverse health risks. And I said, hey, I want to add value into the space. I think I can make my own treat line that's all natural, that can treat a lot of functional issues that people have with their dogs. And so started that line a year ago, and started it from St. Albans, West Virginia. Went through, got a lot of great resources with West Virginia Ignite and some of the other programs within the state. They connected me with people who worked in manufacturing and worked in the finance and trying to establish it from the ground up. And they really helped build it to what it is today.
Very good. That is a great story, great example of, I think, both doing important things for the state of West Virginia, but also the perseverance to do it. So you You built this business in West Virginia. You and I both come from the Kanawha Valley. Different times. When I grew up in the Kanawha Valley, it was an exceptionally thriving place. Lots of businesses. It's been through some challenges as we've had changes in our state's economy. I think it's really important for people to hear from you as a young business owner, an entrepreneur who decided to stay here. We get a lot of talk about these are the things we need to do to reinvigorate the state's economy. Give me, from your perspective, some important things that you would want the state of West Virginia and our state leaders to do to make this a better place to do business.
I think in terms of business growth, it kind of goes down to three factors, where you have one side where it's your ability to research and understand your market to find an ability to serve that community. I think that's the first pinnacle. I think we do a really great job. I think the innovation of ChatGPT and a lot of things has opened up educational resources that we didn't have 20 years ago. And the second side, I think, is capital and the ability to have enough money to go through and found the businesses and provide them with the ability to start up. And right now, West Virginia is very plentiful in capital. I don't think it's recognized by a lot of people that are younger, but once you get into the entrepreneurial space, you understand that there are millions of dollars in grants, LG Innovation, there's different pitch competitions, there's an abundance of people that are trying to donate money and give back right now. And so capital is not really a concern. And so I think the third point, and this is the one we're kind of stuck on right now, is execution. And the execution is one that, it can't be trained. You have to have something you're really passionate about. You have to really look for something where you see the opportunity, you raise the capital, and then you go through and complete that action. I think in terms for most legislators, the best thing you could do is have mentoring programs or have abilities where young people are able to get into businesses and see how they're operating. Or if they have an idea, work with a group and community of people who are tied in and can get you the connections to maybe do manufacturing or work on your software model, and that help with that execution standpoint. Because I think we've really built a great track for the first two. I think it's that third point of the execution now that we really need to focus on.
So, and tell us a little bit about Buddy and Beast, St. Albans, West Virginia. Are you selling products nationally as well?
Love to be selling products nationally. We're not there yet. So right now, our biggest goal is we're trying to jump over the capital hurdle. We're in different pitch competitions. We're trying to get funding for the business to grow and actually build a manufacturing center in St. Albans, West Virginia. Okay. We're looking at doing production in a building either in the St. Albans or the South Charleston area. And we're hoping to be able to scale that where we can move more than 10,000 units a month. And we'd be able to go through and complete wholesale contracts. Right now, we're not at that point yet. We're still baking it at basically at a pretty small team scale, okay. And we'd love to expand. We're selling out at every show. We want to get to that next stage, and we're just looking for the capital to go through and make that next step.
But your goal long term is to have a thriving business that sells across the country that's based right in St. Albans or South Charleston, yep. West Virginia.
Yeah, I would love to build a manufacturing center large enough that we're able to supply jobs to the economy, build another brand, and have it in West Virginia and be able to supply it at a national scale.
So, Andy, if somebody wants to take advantage of your Buddy and Beast product, how do they get in touch with you right now? So
we're working right now on having an in-person store. We've mainly been selling through events, but you can also get our products online at www.buddyandbeast.com. We'll ship it to your house. We do different bundle deals, and hopefully you can get a lot of lifetime customers through going through and subscribing to our store.
Very good. Well, we appreciate you giving us that information, and we hope that our listeners will take advantage of the opportunity to buy local from somebody in West Virginia.
Thank you.
And Andy, I think you are a great example of what young leadership in West Virginia should be about and is about, and I greatly appreciate your drive and determination to make good things happen in West Virginia, and we thank you for taking the time to be on At the Leadership Table with us.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's a great honor to go through and get to do the interview with you.
Thanks for listening. This has been At the Leadership Table with retired Major General Jim Hoyer. Did you know you can now find me on social media at RMG Hoyer? That's HOYER, or email me at rmgjameshoyer@gmail.com.